Hey, this is Clint from CT Mad Mods, and this week we're doing some work on Kyle's rig. He needs a front end done on this thing. I haven't seen a front end leak that bad in a while, but seals are going out, bearings are smoked. I think this rim got hot, so we're gonna take care of him. Seems like this is all I've been doing is differentials. I hate the smell of gear oil, but it is what it is. Pays the bills, I guess. We're gonna get this up on the rack and pull this front end apart. Let's go. You can see that that tire is tipped in pretty bad. Yes. Holy. All right, this is probably the worst one I've ever seen. The only thing holding that together is the brake pads. That's bad. So I'm gonna take that hub off and we're gonna take all the rest of this off and we're gonna see how bad it is inside. That's probably not a good sign. Yep, that's smoked. God. She got hot. That's dry. It's probably the worst I've ever seen one. Whew. Wow. Some of this stuff's kind of welded together. I want to keep this washer because we're going to need it if his kit didn't come with it. But man, this thing don't want to come off of here. I don't know how I'm going to get this off yet. If you haven't figured it out yet, that bearing welded itself to the spindle. So I'm probably gonna end up having to change that whole thing out. You can reach back here and grab, there's 4 bolts. There's 4 bolts that hold that spindle on. That dust cover's kind of in the way, but I think I can reach them. Maybe I'll try that. Take those 4 bolts off and get this whole assembly off, and maybe if I can get it out and get it in the vise or something, I can get that bearing off. But chances are it's welded itself to that spindle, and that spindle is no good anymore. Okay, I can't get those loose, so I'm going to take these kingpins out, and I'm going to take all of the bolts off the back plate here. I'm going to take this off, and I can pull this whole knuckle off that way. So I went ahead and dropped the steering, and we're going to get this sucker apart. That is wild. I swear this is missing a plate. And half the rubber's gone. Yeah. Y'all seen me do a couple of these front ends, and these little kingpins, they have like a shim under each one. And the way I usually do this is I'll take the bottom one off and I'll make sure the shim comes with it, and I'll put it like on right here, and then the top one I'll put up higher, and that way it goes back together exactly the way it came apart. Okay. All right, you see how this has a little shim on it? This is the bottom one, so I'm gonna take this bottom one and I'm gonna put it on the bottom side of this green deal, and then I'm gonna take the top one off and separate it. Whew, sucker don't want to come off. Whew. Okay. That kingpin fell off and the shim fell over there, so we're going to keep those together. This looks rough. I think the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to clean this axle up and make sure it's not broken, this Burfield. Just throw it in the parts washer. All right, here's the update. I got this off. I got it clamped down in the vise, and I'm able to break these bolts loose, and the spindle will be able to come apart. I think this bearing is welded in there. We have a few of these spindles and hubs out in the valley, so might as well show you this while I'm here. I cleaned this up and I looked it over pretty good, and I don't see any cracks or anything in the Burfield, so I think this is still good. We'll pack it with new grease and get it going. Funny story, I have a whole nother front end sitting here. This is a customer's that I just rebuilt a couple of days ago. So, I'm not gonna be able to rob parts off of this, but it sure would be nice if I had a extra front end just sitting here and I could just throw it in there. Got all those bolts out, and then this just comes apart like that. I'm gonna go see if I can stick it on the press over there and pop that bearing out of there. I don't have a whole lot of faith of this working, but I'll give it a try. Whoop. See what that did. I know y'all wanted to see me struggle with this, but I got it apart, and that bearing is smoked. I'm gonna clean his knuckles up. I'm gonna clean all this up and just see how bad it actually is. Man, yeah, he's gonna need a new hub. That hub's screwed up. So probably a hub and that spindle. He'll probably need both of those. We're dead in the water. We gotta go out to the valley. Got some grease on me. That's about all I can do today. I can take this other one apart, but I'm gonna rebuild it, but it's in pretty good shape. I don't know what happened with that other side. That bearing spun or something, messed it all up. So we're gonna rebuild the whole front end, check his Burfields out, make sure everything's good to go, throw some new bearings in it. That's all I can do today. All right, here's all the parts that I think we need to replace. Even the hub got smoked. There's chunks of bearing and all kinds of stuff, so pretty wild. I don't know how many miles he drove on it like this, but it's messed up, that's for sure. Rinse, repeat. We're gonna take this side apart. Got both Burfields out, cleaned them both up, and just inspected them, make sure there's no cracks. And I don't see any cracks, that's a good sign. Got the front end apart. What happens in these things is this seal right here goes out, and then your gear oil starts getting in with the grease, and then it makes that grease look like that. So we're gonna clean this all up, put a new seal on that. We're gonna knock these kingpin bearings out, put new kingpin bearings in it. And I'm pretty much, I can't go much further than this. I'm just gonna clean parts tonight and have all this ready for tomorrow. Get all this cleaned up, and we'll be ready to put her back together tomorrow. So see you tomorrow. Well, I got that one built, and got him some brand new hubs on that sucker. That ought to work good. And of course, you know, I got some help. All right, came back today, took my cutoff wheel and just kind of grind it into that bearing race, and then took a chisel and a hammer and kind of beat on it until it cracked. About to press this sucker off and inspect this spindle. All right, well, it looks like it's got a little bit of messed up stuff right there. I'm gonna get some emery cloth and clean it up real good and see how it comes out. If a bearing slips over that, then we're gonna call it a day. But that's about the worst of it right there. All right, I got it all cleaned up. Took some emery cloth and got all of the imperfections off, and looks pretty good to me. You can see just a little bit of pitting and maybe a little galling or whatever that is, but the bearing fits over it, so we're gonna run it. I think it'll be all right. So it looked like all of his grease was mixing with his oil, and it looks pretty nasty. So I'm gonna go ahead and change his oil out. Got that front end put back together. Only thing I'm missing is some cone nuts. He had regular old bolts in there. So Kevin's gonna go try and get some, but everything's working. I fixed that spindle. I just very gingerly got a nut started on it and back and forth, and I got a file and kind of cleaned the threads up, and I was able to get that sucker started, and it's all ready to go. So I'm gonna get this oil changed, then we're done. All right, I got it all the way back together. The only thing we're missing is these cone nuts that hold that hub on. Put everything else back together. All Kevin has to do is slap the back of the hub on and throw the tire back on. Put oil in it. Everything's rebuilt on the front end. That's another front end. Got it back together. Let's take it for a rip. Well, that wheel looks right now. Let's take it for a little test drive. Oh yeah. Oh, he's got this thing in full drive. Put it in tool drive. Yeah, it's way better. Obviously, you can't drive one of these things with a bearing that bad. That was crazy. This thing sounds rowdy. I love the way it sounds. Let's go by Green Tree and go check out the boys and see what they got going on. What up, G? Oh, this is a customer's rig. I just did a front end on it. I did a 16V swap into it. It's pretty rowdy.
Pretty sweet.
The boys over at GTF saying hi. What's up, G?
What's up? Is this the new one?
No.
No?
No.
Pretty
Customer
sweet
rig. Yeah, I like it. At first I didn't like the color, but then it's grown on me. I kind of like it. This is the one the hood flew up on us when we were test driving it. Wow! But
oh yeah, you can see it right here.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's not that bad.
No.
No.
Yeah.
I need to adjust the clutch on it, so I'm gonna go back and do that. Yeah, so he was driving, whenever I picked it up on the lift, the tire was like that, and then it went honk, honk, honk. The freaking bearing was gone. Yeah. Kids these days.
I did that at meet and greet. I had the bearing go out, and when I pushed the brakes, the tire straightened out. I had no brakes.
Oh, he wanted me to look at his... I'm getting out of here.
What motor's in it? Come on down.
A little 1.6 liter 16 valve. Just like mine.
Dude,
same.
So...
Is rowdy. See y'all later. Well, I guess that's it. Call Kyle up and tell her to come pick her up. She's ready to rip. I bet you his brake is bad on that side. It kind of pulls to the left whenever you hit the brakes. but it went right back on, so I have to test it out, get it back on the lift. Oh, sucker rallies. I love this thing. No hoods flying up today. Yeah, check the hood. Look at this little guy. Well, I'm getting good and fast at these. Hey, if you watch my video to the end, I appreciate it. Leave a like, leave a comment, tell me what I did wrong. Thanks for watching my video.